The Ethiopian Bible is one of the most mysterious and controversial books that ever existed. Even the country itself is shrouded in mysteries that can't be explained. But that's a story for another day. Ethiopia is home to one of the oldest civilizations in the world and is the only country in Africa that was not colonized. And because of that, they can trace their lineage all the way back to him, one of the sons of Noah. This has even been collaborated with the Jews. But this video is not about the country itself, but about what the country possesses. Ethiopia has some of the oldest Bible scrolls that ever existed, even older than the famous KJV Bible. Other than the 66 books that make up the King James Bible, the Ethiopic Bible has 88 books and includes some works that other churches just don't have. The book has scrolls from the Old Testament, the New Testament, and scrolls that had never been seen before. And what makes this so interesting is that they had these scrolls long before Christianity first came to their society in the 4th century. In other words, Christianity wasn't introduced to Ethiopia like in most nations. It has been part of Ethiopian culture since the 4th century. The Egyptian traveler, monk, and historian Cosmos Indicopleustes noted Ethiopia as a Christian country during his visit in the 6th century. Ethiopia has welcomed Christian refugees fleeing persecution from anti-Christian kingdoms and empires for centuries. Certain Ethiopian tribes have worshipped the Christian God for over 3,500 years, making the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, locally known as Tewahedo, one of the oldest organized Christian bodies globally. Ethiopia also possesses one of the earliest illustrated Christian books, part of the Gospels written in Ge'ez, an ancient Ethiopian language, discovered in 2010 in a monastery atop an Ethiopian mountain. According to the Ethiopian Holy Book, the Kebra Nagast, in the 10th century BCE, the Ethiopian ruler and the biblical Queen of Sheba traveled to Jerusalem seeking King Solomon's counsel. Although not explicitly stated in the Bible, historical accounts suggest they had a son named Menelik. Queen Sheba returned to Ethiopia with Menelik, who became the first emperor. The Ethiopian Bible, known as the Ethiopic or Ge'ez Bible, holds a unique place in the history of biblical manuscripts. It contains several books not found in other canons, such as the books of Enoch and Jubilees, and preserves an ancient Jewish tradition. Despite its rich heritage and authenticity, the Ethiopian Bible has often been sidelined in discussions of biblical studies and theology. This exclusion can be traced back to the complex process of canonization, where religious authorities decided which texts were to be considered authoritative and included in the official biblical canon. Factors such as historical context, theological coherence, and linguistic considerations played roles in shaping these decisions. While the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church regards the Ethiopian Bible as part of its sacred scripture, it has not been universally accepted within broader religious communities. One of the primary reasons the Ethiopian Bible isn't universally accepted is because it contains additional books known as pseudepigrapha. Pseudepigraphal works are falsely attributed texts whose claimed author is not the true author, or works whose real author attributed it to a figure of the past, akin to fan fiction. These books are considered non-canonical by most other Christian traditions. The books that were removed or rejected from the mainstream Bible were deemed as such because scribes and theologians of the time recognized that they were not divinely inspired. Many of these books were written before and after Jesus by individuals with questionable motives, leading to their exclusion. It's understandable why they were removed, given their lack of divine inspiration and potential for misleading readers. The language barrier is another significant reason for the rejection of the Ethiopian Bible. It is written in Ge'ez, making it inaccessible to non-speakers and contributing to its relative obscurity outside of Ethiopia. The lack of translations further compounds this issue, as does the unique practices and interpretations found within the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible faces rejection and obscurity largely due to two main reasons: its inclusion of additional books considered pseudo-epigraphical, and its primary language being Ge'ez, which limits accessibility. The lack of translations compounds this issue, alongside unique practices and interpretations within the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. These factors contribute to its relative obscurity and rejection outside of Ethiopia. highlighting the challenges of cross-cultural understanding and acceptance in religious traditions.